Thank you, Sophie Cunningham. I appreciate you for confirming what we all knew anyway. She confirmed it without even trying to confirm it, y'all. Shout out to Sophie Cunningham. Stephanie White's system was not catered to or built around Caitlin Clark. Make no mistake about it.
Sophie Cunningham just dropped a bombshell that completely reshapes how we see the Indiana Fever season. Her revelation points to a serious locker room clash between Caitlin Clark and Coach Stephanie White, one that went way beyond X's and O's. This wasn't about play calls. It was a power struggle over the team's entire identity. Now fans are wondering how much of the Fever's mid-season slump was fueled by this internal tension, and what it means for both Clark's and White's futures in Indiana. So here's the big question. Is Stephanie White really the right coach to lead Caitlin Clark? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Confirms that Caitlin Clark had to change things in that system so that she could try to play her game. She jammed Stephanie White all the way.
Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back. She completely called out what fans had been whispering all season. On her podcast, she confirmed that Caitlin Clark wasn't just another rookie taking orders. Cunningham revealed that Clark played a major role in shaping the Fever's offensive system, saying that generational talents like her get the rare green light to take control. For a drafted player, that's almost unheard of. This wasn't just a compliment. It was a glimpse into the real power dynamics inside Indiana's locker room and how much influence Clark truly holds.
Because those types of athletes, they get to come into an organization, they have the green light and they can do whatever they want. Where that is very rare to get drafted and be able to control the whole system.
Right. Was CeCe making decisions like?
Yeah.
With it? Yeah.
As she should.
No way.
As she should, but I also think that go
that's crazy. I didn't realize that. She's just young. I just didn't think.
The idea that Caitlin Clark was a co-architect of the offense completely shatters the public image of a smooth transition. The Fever had pushed a narrative of seamless chemistry, but Cunningham's comments told a different story. She revealed that Clark had to push for key changes just to play her natural game, which explains why the team's offense often looked hesitant and disjointed. Fever ball wasn't a shared vision. It was a battleground of ideas, a system divided between old habits and Clark's new direction.
You have a generational talent like that, she should have a lot to say of the system.
Cunningham pinpointed the heart of the conflict. It was a Stephanie White system issue. She explained that White preferred a slower half-court style of play, while Caitlin Clark's entire game thrives on fast-paced, high-tempo basketball. Those two philosophies were bound to collide. That fundamental mismatch not only explains some of White's confusing tactical choices, but also sheds light on Clark's visible frustration during key stretches. She wasn't just reacting to missed shots. She was fighting against a system that restricted her strengths.
Sophie Cunningham was on her podcast, and she got to talking about the Indiana Fever system and Stephanie White, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark, and how it all meshes together. And long story short, it wasn't meshing together. Caitlin Clark had to forcefully make some changes. The
most revealing part of Cunningham's leak was the idea that Caitlin Clark had to enforce her power. That phrase says it all. Being the franchise player wasn't enough. Clark had to actively fight for the freedom to play the style of basketball that made her a superstar. This constant tug of war between her vision and Stephanie White's authority unfolded on the court night after night, disrupting the team's rhythm and chemistry. Cunningham's comments make one thing clear. Clark's influence ran far deeper than anyone admitted publicly. The entire season became a battle to align the Fever system with their stars' natural abilities, and that struggle defined everything that followed.
Stephanie White, you knew you were coming to the Indiana Fever. You should already know the system Caitlin wants to play. Why did she have to make changes to your system to play her game? And we also know that this did not go over so smoothly because we saw Stephanie White taking shots at her on TV.
The conflict wasn't just about a few play calls. It was a full-on collision between two opposing basketball philosophies. On one side was Caitlin Clark, whose entire game is built on a read and react system, the same style she perfected at Iowa. With the ball in her hands nearly every possession, she dictated tempo, read defenses in real time, and created offense through instinct and freedom. It's why she chose Iowa in the first place. It fit her creative, fast-paced identity. On the other side stood Stephanie White, shaped by her years with the Connecticut Sun, favoring a structured motion offense built on precision, ball movement, and equal opportunity. Her system prioritizes team balance over individual dominance, demanding players move constantly and share touches. The goal, a collective rhythm rather than one playmaker steering the ship. These two approaches, freedom versus structure, were never meant to coexist, and that's where the friction truly began.
Caitlin Clark not feeling the system that has been in place by Stephanie White. Pretty much we like to call this the Connecticut offense, and really the Connecticut experiment, because that's the hand Caitlin Clark was dealt with going into the 2025 season. Stephanie White was hired to be the new coach. She came over from Connecticut, and she brought some backs with her like DeWanna Bonner and her whole system that was ran around DeWanna Bonner. Well, she tried to run that same system with Caitlin Clark. And you want to know what happened? I'm not saying this contributed to Caitlin getting hurt, but that whole system did not work.
These two styles mixed like oil and water. When Clark was confined to White's rigid offensive sets, her most lethal strengths were neutralized. The Fever's offense often looked flat and disjointed because it wasn't designed to capitalize on her court vision or magnetic presence. That's why the team came alive whenever Clark dictated the tempo, and why things fell apart whenever she was pushed off the ball or slotted at small forward.
We saw Stephanie White play Caitlin Clark at small forward. We saw Caitlin Clark play small forward for an entire game. So don't get it twisted. Sophie is saying, yeah, Caitlin Clark has say-so, da-da-da. Caitlin Clark had to go and force herself to say, hey, what the hell is going on? I'm not doing all this off-ball stuff. You got me playing small forward. I'm not getting to play my game. I'm about to force some changes to be made.
This philosophical clash sparked an immediate power struggle. Caitlin Clark entered the league as a generational talent accustomed to running her own system, while Stephanie White arrived determined to uphold her established coaching identity. The now infamous halftime confrontation in Atlanta was simply the public breaking point of a season-long tension, a deeper disagreement about offensive philosophy and how to maximize the team's most valuable weapon. From day one, White's structured approach clashed with Clark's free-flowing style, creating an unavoidable disconnect. That friction became the root cause of the Fever's inconsistent offensive rhythm all year. Throughout the season, key moments revealed Clark quietly resisting a system that didn't fit her strengths. One of the clearest examples was when White shifted her into an off-ball role, a move that reinforced the coach's rigid system but restricted Clark's natural playmaking instincts. Her visible frustration during games, especially that heated Atlanta exchange, makes perfect sense in hindsight. It wasn't just about a single mistake or misplay. It was about a fundamental disagreement over how the team should function and whose vision would define the Fever's identity.
Look, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White clearly like and respect one another, right? But that doesn't mean they always see eye to eye. And I am beginning to suspect more and more that there's a bit of a divide between the way that they see the game and the way that they think the Indiana Fever should play.
The most glaring example of the clash came when Caitlin Clark was deployed at small forward for entire games, a decision that perfectly captured the philosophical divide. A generational point guard was suddenly operating as a wing, a role that stripped away her biggest strengths. Clark's post-game remarks about execution and personnel were subtle but clear critiques of the system she was forced to run. The offense came alive only when she reclaimed control, like in the second half against Atlanta, when her leadership sparked a major scoring surge. As Sophie Cunningham pointed out, whenever Clark was on the floor and free to dictate tempo, the Fever played an entirely different and far more dangerous brand of basketball.
The fact of the matter is, it should not have come down to that. You knew where you were signing. You knew the player that the team was supposed to be built around. You're supposed to have a system in place that caters to her. Matter of fact, you're supposed to build the system with her. Hey, what do you like? What do you want to run here? What do you want to run there? How do you like that? You're supposed to build this thing out with her, not bring your Connecticut system, have her playing small forward for a handful of games, and now she gotta change the system and enforce her power. Come on now.
White's rotation decisions often disrupted the chemistry Caitlin Clark was trying to build with her core teammates. In her return game from injury against the Golden State Valkyries, White started Ari McDonald, pushing Clark off the ball and into the small forward spot once again. The move was meant to ease her back, but it backfired. The offense lost rhythm and stalled. Likewise, benching Lexi Hull, one of Clark's best complementary pieces as a reliable defender and shooter, made the offense predictable and flat. These constant lineup tweaks created a stop-start flow that killed any chance of consistency. That's why Clark had to assert her influence. Being the franchise player wasn't enough. She had to fight for the right to play her own game. As Sophie Cunningham revealed, Clark forcefully implemented changes to the system, turning the entire season into a power struggle. Each game became a tug-of-war between Clark's vision for the offense and White's coaching control, with the Fever's success hanging in the balance.
In this footage right here, this is Caitlin Clark pretty much ignoring the Indiana Fever assistant coaches. She don't want to hear nothing y'all gotta say. She ain't here for none of the drama, none of the BS. It's over with. Guys, check this out. Right here, Austin Kelly, like, okay, whatever. Like, bro, like, y'all really think, like, bro, I don't know what this conversation was about, but clearly here, there's a situation at hand. Caitlin Clark is pissed. She don't want to hear nothing y'all got to say.
The halftime confrontation in Atlanta was the moment the season-long tension between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White finally erupted into the open. This wasn't a simple dispute over a misplay. It was the boiling point of their deeper disagreement about the Fever's offensive identity. Clark's frustration with being pushed off the ball and forced into a slower, structured system peaked that night. According to witnesses, the exchange centered entirely on philosophy and player usage. Clark challenged White's Connecticut-style motion offense, arguing for a system that maximized her playmaking and freedom to dictate tempo. The clash exposed the heart of their conflict: White's commitment to structure versus Clark's read and react instincts. It wasn't about ego or disrespect. It was a battle between two competing visions for how the Fever should play and, ultimately, how they could win.
Any of this at Iowa? No, we didn't. We didn't see Caitlin Clark erupting on assistant coaches, having heated exchanges with Lisa Bluter. We didn't see this. Hell, she didn't even have a heated exchange with Christy Sides last year. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's looking real spooky. And I'm telling y'all right now, this thing is heating up. Something is coming to a head because Caitlin Clark is now showing publicly she's pissed off. She's publicly showing it. She ain't in character no more. She's sick of it.